Hello, friends, and welcome back to Malicious Compliance Stories. Nothing says disrespect like purposefully dropping somebody's things so they have to bend over and pick it up. These selfish, entitled lowlifes need to be handled like this. But before we begin, best way to support our channel is to leave comments, like, and subscribe with a turned-on bell so you don't miss the new video every single day. Here we go. Young Karen gets a taste of her own medicine. This happened a few years ago at a theme park that was part of the More Than 5 Flags chain. Typically, an hour or so before a theme park opens, a crowd of people starts to gather outside the main gate so that they can get in as soon as possible and make a beeline for the premium rides before the lines get crazy long. I was attending an event at the park, and one of our perks was getting in an hour before the park opened to the public and enjoying ERT, exclusive ride time, until the general public was allowed in. When it was time for us to enter, we each had to show our event badge and present our admission ticket/season pass to the employees at the entrance gate. In this instance, the gatekeeper was an elderly lady named Ida. She looked to be close to 90 years old and was barely over 5 feet tall. As I was preparing to hand Ida my badge and pass, a rude 20-something Karen shoves her way in front of me and shows Ida her season pass but no event badge. Ida politely tells Karen she'll have to wait another hour until the park opens to the public. Karen: why do I have to wait but they don't? Ida: because they're here for a special event. Karen: you've got to be effing kidding me. Ida, with a glare that could kill: no, I'm not effing kidding you, and drops Karen's pass on the ground, forcing Karen to bend over and pick it up in a tightly packed crowd. After Karen huffed away, I told Ida, way to go. Ida said she picked the wrong one to curse at today. I said, no, she picked exactly the right one. You gave her exactly what she deserved. It still makes me smile. And our second story. Ask the couple viewing my house why they wasting our time. My husband, 33, and I, 30-year-old female, are selling our house that we purchased 8 years ago. We currently have it listed for $35,000 more than what we purchased it for due to all the renovations and upgrade we put into it. Everything on the inside is brand new and was done in the last year and a half with special order carpet, furnace, hot water tank, and kitchen / going in just 2 months ago. The only thing we didn't add to the home was a garage, detached, as we chose to have a large backyard instead, although the electrical work is in place as well as the permit should whoever purchases it decide to build one. We do have 2 parking stalls behind our house, though, on our property, not street parking. Our realtor messaged us with a viewing request at 5:30 to 6, which we agreed to, so we packed our kids up as well as our dog and left. We got back home at 6:30 only to find them still on our house. We apologized and instantly went back outside while my husband took the kids to the park. Now we're working with a realtor and not selling independently as we don't want to deal with the people viewing our homes personally. While I was outside waiting for them to finish up, this woman and her husband came out to ask me questions like what cost for a garage would be. I told them an approximate price and she starts laughing, asking me how we could list our house so high when they'd still have to pay $20,000 or more for a garage. I told her we made the decision to put that kind of money to upgrade the interior of our house as a garage was never a need for us. She then got annoyed and began saying she wouldn't pay more than $320,000 for our house, which was less than what we purchased it for. I told her I'd never agree to that and that this conversation was over, and that if she had any more questions that her realtor could reach out to mine. She began arguing with me again, so I snapped and asked why she was wasting everyone's time as our listing clearly stated there was no garage, but that I would gladly put one in, but would be bumping up my listing by another $30,000. She freaked out and said that it would put our place out of her price range, so I told her not to bother looking at places priced above her means and to get off my property. She left crying because of how rude I was to her, and her husband called me a B-word. My husband thinks I could have ended the conversation more eloquently, but I feel she crossed a line, but questioning me in the first place. Edit. Just want to clear up a couple things. No, my realtor was not on site, as it's not common practice where I live to have the seller's realtor there unless they're the ones personally doing the showings. An interested buyer's realtor reaches out to him to request a showing, which is arranged upon our approval, and he then provides them with the code to the lockbox on our front door. Their realtor was there initially as I saw him when I had come home. I then left to our back alley with my dog while my husband took the kids across the street to the park. I'm assuming they had all left together, and when their realtor drove off, they came around to the back to start questioning me. For those of you asking why I came home when I should have looked for their cars in my driveway, I have no driveway. It's all street parking, and the cars in front of my house belong to my neighbors. We came back 30 minutes after the viewing was supposed to end, and my realtor had received no notification that they were there past the appointed time. I don't know what she expected you to say. She inconvenienced you, basically called you a fool for not building a garage, and implied you don't understand the real estate market. And our next story. $15 for 15 kids. Seems fair. To start, there's a family I used to babysit for right down the block when I was about 14 or 15 that have 3 boys, ages at the time 3, 6, and 8. I sat for just them maybe 2 to 3 times. They weren't the best kids, and the oldest had anger issues bad enough that I was instructed to lock the knife drawer every time I was there. I quit babysitting for them after the boys managed to handcuff me to a chair for an hour and a half. Anyway, moving on. So one day the mom comes to me and asked if I would be available to babysit for her church group. I ask how many kids there will be, and she says maybe 5, including hers. I let her know I normally charge $8 an hour per family. She says okay, and we're set. Now, normally I would bring a friend if I sat for more than 4 kids, but this mom was not the nicest and said if I bring someone, they have to be a practicing Christian. For the record, I am one, but I didn't have any friends that were, so I go alone. She then lets me ride with her family to the church with her kids screaming and fighting the whole way, and guess who had to deal with it? We get there and she takes me to the nursery where I'll watch the kids for the night. It's a tiny room with maybe 5 toys. Already I can see that this is going to be an issue. The boys alone would be a pain, but add 2 more kids? Yikes. So the 2 kids show up, 2 boys, both around 4. Okay, this might be a little difficult. I start racking my brain, thinking of things to do with them, as I was a very hands-on babysitter. Then I see 2 more kids at the door with their mom. Then here come more and more and more. When I finally got the chance to process things, I had about 15 kids, all under the age of 10. I was pissed. I called the original mom over and told her there was no way I could watch this many kids in such a small space by myself. She said, "Oh, sorry. We had a few people tell me they were coming yesterday and I forgot to tell you." I'm thinking, forgot or didn't want to? And unfortunately for me, I was a huge pushover, so I just said, no big deal. I did let her know I expected to be getting paid accordingly. She agreed and left, saying the session shouldn't last more than an hour. That's fine. I was allowed to take the kids outside, but only until sundown, which gave me 30 minutes outside, 30 in. Nope, 4 hours later, I'm on the verge of tears because these kids are downright awful and they're bored. The parents start getting the kids and I'm standing there with no money. Hellboy's mother says she would be willing to drive me back. How the F else was I supposed to get home? Get to the car, still no money. We get to the family's house. Yeah, I had to walk another half-mile home at 10:30 at night. Still nothing. Mom says thanks and good night. I was so worn out, but I wasn't going home without money. I asked her about the payment, and she says she'll give it to me tomorrow. I told her I was busy and insisted. Rolling her eyes, she writes a check. I take it and bolt out of the car. About halfway home, I look at the check, $15. I swear, I think my jaw came unhinged. I went home and told my parents everything. $15 for 15 kids for 4 hours? There were at least 6 or 7 families there that could have pooled money easily. I contacted the mother the next day and reminded her of what we originally agreed on. She told me the families were too poor to pay for childcare. Lie. I recognized some of the kids and they came from well-off families, and that I should be happy that I'm at least getting experience. I insisted on being paid the correct amount, but she said no and cut contact with me and my family. Bright side, my mom gave me $100 to make up for that night. Never again. Wow, I'm so sorry. There's some seriously crappy people in the world. And our last story. Karen complains about damage she caused. Okay, so way back in the mists of time, before I had ever heard the term Karen, I was 21 at the time. I'm 46 now. I got my first job since passing my driving test, security guard / bouncer at Haven Holidays Camp. Due to the ground being largely soft clay over limestone, anyone staying on site, whether a static caravan, a touring caravan, or chalet, or a camper van, were told the same thing. The caravan / camper van goes on the concrete pad, your cars go in the car parks. Multiple ones on site for this reason. If it rains, the grass basically becomes a clay bog. Even the security van had off-road tires fitted for delivery of gas tank. Inevitably, people would park on the grass and wonder why their car is now down to its floor pan in a gray, sticky morass. The boss told anyone that did it that, yes, we can use one of the tractors we have on site for moving caravans around, etc. to pull you out, but you have to sign a waiver that any damage to the car is on you, not the employee or the company. Of course, I eventually end up doing it under supervision, as I've only driven a tractor once before on my first day of training. The supervisor hooks the car up and tells the girl behind the wheel, "When I tell you, gently press accelerator and I will try to pull you out." Of course, her car's a rusty old crap box of a Granada. We get her out and her rear bumper got snagged on the curb and got ripped off. Cue instant red-faced rage threats to sue me, the supervisor, and the company for a new car. My supervisor just pointed out she signed the no-fault waiver, it's on her. This Karen then spent rest of the day drinking, got so hammered she tried to start a fight with a nightclub manager. She ended up getting her family booted out and banned from all Haven parks in the country. Hey guys, thank you all for watching the video. I'll see you in the next one.